So I might have to repeat it for the sake of the recording. Is it fine? All right. So
Okay,
welcome
it's
to
okay.
part B. So now that we want to then begin with the first line item, which is the cash sale. So I'd already done the computations for you. So there are two ways to this, okay? So the first
Mm,
thing, notice that we're given, it was the selling price of the product, which is 5 rands 50. And also in information number 6, we are told or we are given the breakdown of the sales estimates in terms of the number of units. So for the month of Jan, the total number of units is 160,000, and that's the 160,000 that you have over there. And you multiply that by the selling price per item or per product, which is 5 rands 50. And then you allocate it accordingly in terms of cash sales, which is the 45% that we're given there. And that's what we have over there. So if you do the computation of this calculation, that's going to give you 396,000 over here.
mm,
And then you do the same for the month of February with the 110,000 units multiplied by 5 rands 15 times 45% to give you a total of 272,250 for the month of February. Are we together?
mm, mm,
Now, that's one way of doing it. If you want to show a direct calculation of cash sales, there is another way. Another way is one whereby you show the calculations separately at the bottom of uh yes, at the bottom of your cash budget, where you have your calculations here. So for cash sales, you would indicate the cash sales for January, and you also show the ones for February. So you might have this, maybe you can call this one 1.1, and maybe you might call this one your 1.2 if you want. It's
mm.
all up to you.
Okay.
Yeah. But the key thing is to show the calculation references. And then so here,
Okay.
this would be calculation one. And then also on the other end, it will still be part of calculation one as well,
Mm, okay.
like this. So you can reflect it in this manner. That is if you don't want to show the calculations directly on the actual line items.
Mm,
Together there?
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So meaning to say with cash sales line item, we are done. Now
Mm,
we want to deal with this, the collection of credit sales. Right. So now, as I had indicated earlier in the PDF document, I told you that if the cash sales total is 45%, now what I'm about to write, it's going to be part of your notes. So I'm going to put this in red.
mhm,
So this therefore means 55% is credit sales. Are we together?
yes.
Like that. Now, but this credit sales is supposed to be collected in the following manner: 25% in the month following the sale, and then
Mm,
25% in the month following the sale. Then the balance, it will be considered to be irrecoverable. Anyways, without any further ado, for this one, we're going to have to do the calculations. Um,
okay.
yeah, over here. All right.
So these are credit sales, right?
I think it's best to do it separately. You say what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are credit sales.
Yeah, those are now credit sales. Yeah. And notice that so when let's start with the month of January so that it becomes easy. So now I'm dealing with
Mm,
credit sales collection. So we call this credit sales collection, or there's another name for it, which is called debtors collection. That's another word for that. Are we together?
mm,
Now, your
mm,
debtors collection or your creditors collection, it's dealing with 2 months, okay? So it's dealing with the month of January, and it's dealing also with the month of February. Are we together there? But
yes.
now, here's what I want you to bear in mind. You've been given November, December also. Now, the
Mm,
credit sales for November, all right? The credit sales for November, 25% of it is collected in the month of January, in the month of December, sorry. Does it make sense?
Okay.
Where they are saying 25% in the month following the sale. So meaning to say credit sales which were done in the month of November, the 55%, of course, which is what is the total credit sales, it will be collected in December. But then
Okay.
the other 25% is collected when? In January.
In January.
Are we together there?
Yes.
So that aspect is very, very, very important to note. So now
Okay.
here's how the calculations are going to look like. So to make it easy for us, we are going to start with the ones that relate, yes, yeah, that relate with the month of November, right? So let's see what
Okay.
happened in November. So in November, they sold a total of 120,000 units. So we're going to take the 120,000 units, and that 120,000 units will be multiplied by the 5 rands 50.
Mm.
Now, that is just to give us the total sales anyways. But then
Okay.
we want the credit sales to begin with, which is that 55%. Are we together? That we have determined where? Over here. I get they said 45% it's cash sales. Therefore, the
Yes.
balance, yeah, the total sales is 55%. That is equivalent to credit sales, total credit sales.
Yes.
So that's what we are calculating over here. So I want you to observe my calculations correctly. So this is just to determine total credit sales year the month of November. But how are they doing the collection year the credit sales for November?
Yes.
25% of the credit sales in November are collected when? The following month, which is December. But are we dealing with December
Okay.
in our question? No. All
No.
right. We are dealing with January and February. So
Okay.
ignore that part. But then we are told 25% still of the credit sales for November is collected second month following the sale, meaning to say it will be collected in January of 2024.
January.
Does it make sense?
Okay.
So now, to
Yes.
make it easier now, I'm going to just bring in another. So this will be now then times 25%. Are we together?
Okay.
So notice the first part of this calculation is just to get the credit sales, total credit sales for the month of November. And then we multiply it by how we are going to be collecting the credit sales. So there's 25% of it, which is collected in the second month, which is of course going to be the month of January. So this is how that calculation would look like. Are we together?
Yes.
Right. We are not done. That was for the month of November. And yet, now we're going to the month
Okay.
of December now. So for the month of December, they sold a total of 90,000 units. 45% of it was cash sales, but then there's a 55% of that 90,000, which is credit sales. 25% of it is collected in the month following the month of December. So the month following, as far as December is concerned, is when? It is the month of January. Does it make
January.
sense?
Yes.
So in this case, we're going to take our 90,000 units. In fact, the percentage will be the same anyways. So it's 90,000 units. And then this 90,000 units will be multiplied. It will be multiplied. Sorry. It will be multiplied by 50. Sorry, it will be multiplied by 5 rands 50, multiplied by 55% and 25%, which is this 25% that we are talking about. Sometimes this might be different. They might give it as 35%. Are we together? And this might be 20%. So they can change all of those things. But what is important is that in this case, they made it simpler because they gave you the same percentages anyways. So now this
Mm.
25%, yet December, it's collected in January. Are we together? So that's what you have
Yes.
here in this calculation for January. Now, so we are done with December. Then we go into the month of January, yona kabuyona. So January, nothing of credit sales is collected in Jan. The January one, it will be collected in December. Are we together? So meaning to say now
Yes.
we're dealing with the calculation, yeah, February. So it will be dealt with here in Feb. So, but I'll show it later. But for now, as far as January is concerned, this is how the calculation is supposed to look like, and you get the amount there. Making sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 120,000 units times 5 rands 50 times 55% times 25%. How much do you get, my sister?
90750.
Yes, I got 90750, right?
Yes. 90750.
Yes. And then you add that with the one that you're going to get over here. So it's
This is
90,000
90,000
times 5 rands
and
50 times
550.
55% times 25%. It will give you an amount with the decimal, which is in this
Yes.
case 68,006. But you round it up,
66.
okay, to the nearest
Okay.
whole number. So that will give you 68,063
Okay.
rands. Are we together?
Okay. Yes.
And then you add the two to give you the total collection for the month of January. So 90,750 plus 68,063 rands to give us 158,813.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the total for the month of January.
It's January.
Is it making sense, my sister?
Okay. It does. Yeah.
I know it's a lot.
Now
I'm making
I see now
mistake.
I got wrong on my assignment.
You got it what?
I got it wrong on my assignment because this was part of my assignment,
This question.
especially this part. Yeah.
Yo. Ah, but don't worry. In the exam, you get it right. That's what is important.
Yeah.
All right. So that was for the month
Okay.
of Jan. That's the total, 158,813. So here's the thing now.
Okay.
We're gonna go, so now we want to deal with Feb, Angera. So we had said
Yes.
for November, the first payment of credit sales is done in December. And then the second one is done
Mm.
when? January. So it means as far as November is concerned, we are done. So there's
Yes.
nothing that affects February that is coming from the month of November. Okay?
Yes.
So far, so good. Then we go to December. So December, they said the first collection or the first payment of credit sales collection, it's done in January. Then the second
Okay.
one, it will be done when? In February. Are we
In
together?
February.
Yeah. So what you're
Yes.
simply gonna do to make life easy for you, this Akeriki, the payment, yeah, Ntwela.
At December.
Yes, yeah, December. Right? And the percentages they are the same, it's 25%. So this we're just gonna copy and then we paste it over here. Are we together? So this is
Okay.
to indicate
Yes.
the second payment of December, but which is being made in February of 2024. Right? So meaning to say, as far as December's collection, credit collections are concerned, we are done with December. Are we together?
Yes.
Then we
Yes.
go into the month of January. So for January, the first collection, it will be done ka February. So, yeah,
Okay.
so we're gonna add now So we're gonna add,
160,000.
yeah, the 160,000 units. I just want to make sure we have consistency. Yeah. So now we're gonna take that and then you're gonna multiply it with this over here with the 5 rands 50 times 55% and times the 25%.
Mm.
So let's do the math. So for the first one, yeah, 90,000 times 5 rands 50 times 55% times 25. This would give you 68,813. Sorry, 800, sorry, 68,063 rands, which we had already calculated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we already calculate this one.
Yes. Now we want to calculate this one.
Okay.
Excuse me, 55%. So 160,000 times 5 rands 50 times 55% times 25%. I'm getting 121,000.
Yeah, I'm getting that as well.
You got the same, ne? And then you
Yes.
add those two amounts together. So 121,000 plus 68,063. That would give us 189 and 63 rands, like that. 189
Yes.
and 63 rands, like that. Right? So that's the
Yes.
calculations of credit sales collections or the debtors collections for the month of January and February. So what you do now,
Okay.
you go back here. So where it says receipts select 1 month. Um, so obviously that would deal with the month of January. So we're gonna say 158, 158,000. Put it over there.
Mhm.
And then we're going to show obviously the calculation reference for Itwakai. So that's calculation 2 over there. And then the other one, we
Mhm.
got 189,063. And again, still that's coming from calculation 2. So you show it like that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Like that. In fact, this should be like this. In fact, let me correct that. Yes, something like that. So the seat select,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yes,
One and two.
yes. In fact, let me show it the right way it's supposed to appear, because I do not confuse with the receipt select what. Because the way I shown it
Mm.
here, when I say receipt select 1 month, uh, look, it will be obviously if I'm doing the direct calculation. So for now, what I'll
Mhm.
do, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna call it credit sales collections. Credit
Okay, I
sales
think that's better.
collections, yeah. And then I'll just remove, and then because I already done the calculations separately, and then I'm gonna remove this column over here.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. So it will be credit sales collections for the month of January from calculation 2, and then for the month of February again also from calculation number 2. So if the lecturer goes to these calculations, they will be able to see what you have done. Are we together?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
get marks for those calculations as well.
Okay.
Yes. So that's it about the first month. Now I want to go back to our question. Is there any other receipts, cash receipts, which this company received as far as the information we were given is concerned? I don't think so, because everything to do with sales, we've dealt with it in information 1 and information 2.
Yeah.
also from information 6. After information 6, then they begin to talk about what? Depreciation.
Depreciation.
Yeah. And then information 8, they're talking about raw materials. Do you see there?
Yes.
Yeah, they begin to talk about raw materials, and then this information it will be used here when you're talking about purchases and stuff. And then as of January the 1st, the opening bank balance amounted to 5,315. That
Yes.
information is very important. So this one, it's very important in the sense that that's what we will use as our beginning.
Opening balance.
Yes. So it's a positive amount. Why I'm saying so? Because they told you that it's a favorable balance.
Okay.
Do you see there? So we take that amount and
Yes.
you just plug it there, 5,315 like that. So it will be plotted somewhere there. Yeah.
Okay, for January. No?
Yes, for January, yes. So it will be the opening balance.
Okay.
Just put it over there. So it means this
Okay.
information, as far as it's concerned, this one we are done with it. So yeah, then you just
Okay.
so I think for something that we are done with, I'll just put that in blue. Means say we are done with that
Yes.
information. And then, but then of course, we still need to come back. Uh, so I think as far as selling prices is concerned, as far as this part is concerned, also done with this one. So yeah. But then we still need to be, yeah, even this one we are done with it.
Okay.
There's nothing else about sales collections that we are going to deal with. Now we move to the part about labor and whatnot. So in fact, if there's nothing else that the company received from any other source, then what you do, you simply totalize the total cash receipts for January as well as for the month of February already. So you're simply going to say
Okay.
396,000 plus 158,813 to give you 55,4,813. That is for the month of January. And then for Feb, you're going to say 272,250 plus 189 and 63 rands to give you something like 461, 31.
Okay.
So that would be your total cash receipts for January as well as for the month of February. So far, so good.
Okay.
Yes. Then now we
Okay.
go to cash purchases. So now with the purchases, here is what we are told. I'm going to jump information 3 for the meantime so that I deal with purchases. So in information 4, they are telling you that the total cost of the product, the total cost of the product, it's equivalent to how much? For rent
Very-
a unit. And get of which raw
Yes.
materials makes up what?
50%.
50%. So what we are dealing with here, we are dealing with purchases, okay? With raw materials.
Okay.
So
Yes.
it says cash purchases. That is to do with cash purchases of what? Of raw materials.
Okay.
That's very important. So now we were given already the number of units that were sold. So obviously, if they were sold, then we also consider then the same units also for the raw materials bought. Okay. But
Okay.
now here is the catch in information number 8, which is very important. So in
Okay.
information 8, they give us something to do with the raw materials, right? How it is paid. So they are saying
Yes.
60% of each month's purchases is paid by the 10th of the following month. Meaning to say, as far as purchases for January are concerned, they are paid in the month of February. And then a 2% cash discount is received. All right. So if 60% are paid by the 10th of the following, what about the other 40%? What's happening with it? That's another question that we need to be able to answer. So the remaining
Mm.
purchases now, which do not qualify for a discount, are paid in full by the end of the first month after the month of purchase. The remaining
Mm.
purchases, which do not qualify for a discount, are paid in full by the end of the first month after the month of purchase. That's a very interesting one, my sister, right? Now, it sounds
No.
confusing, but let me explain.
I'm blank. Yeah.
So notice 60% of each month's purchases is paid when? By the
Mm.
10th of the following month. Okay? So if it's paid by the
Okay.
10th of the following month, we can consider that to be paid obviously within the same month because then there
Okay.
is a balance which is settled, paid in full by the end of the first month after the month of purchase. Meaning to say, if I'm looking at January,
Mm.
that other 40% which does not qualify for a discount, when is it paid? It is paid
In February.
in February. That's what it means. Okay.
Mm.
And also, of
Okay.
course, that 60% which is paid on the 10th of the following month. I mean, that's also
Mm.
still meaning to say that these things are paid when? In February again. I'm just giving an example with January in this case.
Mm.
But then the
Okay.
only difference that is taking place is that the 60% it has discount, whereas the other 40% does not have discount. So all of them they are paid within the same month. All right. But
Okay.
the only difference is that one, the 60% is going to be discounted to 2%, and then the other one, it's not going to be discounted for. Are we together there?
Okay. So that means if I pay
Mm.
in January, I
Yeah.
will get that 2% discount.
Mm-hmm.
If I paid on the 10th of
Yes.
January.
Mm-hmm.
Then if I paid next month, which is February, I don't get the discount.
Mm-hmm. So this one is
Okay.
a bit tricky, but my assumption, because it's paid on the 10th, not at the end of the following month, we
Mm.
might maybe need to account for it as a current. It's a
Okay.
current purchase, meaning to say 60% it will be considered to be part of, if it's bought in January, so it will be accounted for in the month of January. You know, that's one way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I mean, I think what they were just supposed to say is that 60% of each month's purchase is paid by the 10th of
Mm.
the same month or something like that. It could have been better. But
Okay.
nonetheless, here's what we're gonna do. If we had to do with it with the following month, because I think the catch in this one is the following month.
Yes.
All of them they're made when the following month. The only difference is that the other one it's yeah, something like that. So now how do we account for this? It's very simple. So I'm gonna do another calculation here for you.
Yes.
This one I'll call it calculation 3. And then we're dealing with raw material purchases. Raw material purchases. And then obviously you're gonna have the month of January somewhere, and you're also gonna have the month of February somewhere there. Now, I'm going to make some adjustments. So I don't think we have cash purchases in this case. So this will be 0 and that will be 0. Are we together?
Okay.
Yes, because all of it is done by like in discount. Otherwise, if they were doing it in cash, they would have said 60% of each month's purchases is paid um by them in like in yeah, like in this case on the 10th of the following month, and then they would say 40% was paid for in cash. But I don't think that's the case we are having here. They're buying all of these things on credit. So hence I'm saying cash purchases is 0. All right.
Okay.
So now we want to deal with the payments part. So I'm gonna say credit Purchases, payments. All right. This is the same thing as saying creditors, payment schedule. Are we together? This is because we are paying our creditors for what? For the raw materials which we acquired on credit from them. That's what is happening over here. So now let's start with January, in fact, from November and see what is going on. What is going on? So with November, here's the catch. For the November purchases, all right, all of it will
Mm.
be paid for in the month of December. It's simple logic like that. Are we
Okay.
together? Whereby the 60% portion, it will be discounted for